Vice Chairman NITI Aayog Usuman Kumar Beri haka kharwai terik risau ulaong balada ka sorkar ka kwaban pentrikam yaki sinjam kiban om I yano ru shedin kum taru ka deiban perkhat haka bayadei bat kumba arspa million ki paj riewlum habakran Syllad pathai khubor haka jingla jurip yaka office ka hima melim uberi ulaong bu menteri rang badu kari Narendra Modi ula plai jingmut shibun haka bayadei bat ki jing bat ki kam jong ki paj riewlum ulaong ru bakipai riewlum kidai shibenta nakipai nongshong shnong kari India bakong sanpha Henry Bunsin kim shemlayo satya ya kijing kershan lingba ki skim ka sorkar pedeng namar kata ka NITI Aayog hapo kari barok kawai om tang haki jella kumba kala shim khia bha ya ki mat ki bayadei bat ki pai riewlum namar lada phikwa ya ki buit rekam ki bapa ka bha hakaroi ka par kaban om I yano ru shedien pitip bapi haban perkhat lang ya ki arspa million ki pai riewlum kari ulaong shushu Nalor kata nakaliang Vice Chairman NITI Aayog ulapan pauru ya kajing ang nur bantip syapang kakam bar kabor jang ka Autonomous District Council ADC. Hakane kajing let jurip nakaliang usim kahima melim ula pediang sobha bat penkup burom ya une Vice Chairman NITI Aayog harangkat kajing dan lang ki menteri bat Chief Executive Member CEM ka Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council KHADC uba penyai sing CEM.
Sir, being the traditional institution incepted in the year 1853, which is also known as the Khasi Kingdom, which are also the only traditional head which still exists till date in this country. Just for your information, sir, this Himalayan consists of the Siam, which called the king as it head, with the council of ministries and Basan and Lingdor to assist the day-to-day administration of this office regarding the land administration, market, the ilakas, and the forest department. And also, sir, this office, its special emphasis with this civil suit, which we practice till date from the time of memorial, sir. This HIMA, sir, is sanctioned with the Khasi Autonomous District Council under the provision of the 6th Schedule Constitution of India. And sir, this office, we function, we didn't depend on the government, sir, or any other, we didn't even got, day-to-day administration, sir, this office depend only from the, we used to call khajna in Khasi, or tax from Yodu. Revenue, we got revenue from Yodu. Yodu is a traditional market, sir. It's the largest traditional market here in Northeast. As I would like you, sir, to come and visit one day.
Each chief minister is a member of my board of directors. We call it the governing council. It so happens that Chief Minister Sangma has engaged with me and with NITI Aayog continuously since since he called on me in April, but we've also met in Delhi a couple of other times. I had not had the opportunity to visit officially Meghalaya on my own. So I was saying, each corner of India is different. We as NITI Aayog are there to serve the states. Honorable Prime Minister says often and believes that India grows when its states grow. And so it's not only a question of growth, it's a sabka saath, sabka prayas, sabka vikas. So to understand what inclusive growth means in each part of the country means visiting. So it is a courtesy visit, it's not an agenda-driven visit, but it's an opportunity for me to understand the issues facing the state. My interest arose from, for two reasons. One is that in general, Prime Minister Modi has paid a lot of attention to tribal issues. And tribal communities are a significant part of India's population. They are not always well supported by national schemes. And so for NITI Aayog on a national level, not just on a state level, as it were, being alert to tribal level issues is important, because if you want a development strategy that leaves no one behind, then you do have to worry about I think it's 200 million tribals. That was one concern. So the northeast is tribal, Meghalaya was tribal. This is my first official visit to any state in the northeast, and so I was interested in the tribal dimension of Meghalaya. But second, I had become aware, because my wife has a connection with Meghalaya, that district councils have a role, have power, and so I expressed an interest in finding out what their powers are, what their jurisdiction is. This came up in my brief conversation with the CM in Delhi, and that one thing led to another, and basically they said, well, there are two kinds of structures, Khasi structures. Some are urban, some are rural, and they have their own practices, their own systems. Would you like to meet them? And I said yes. And so, even in 15 or 20 minutes, I've learned a lot about their duties, their powers. I did not prepare myself on the issue of funding, okay? Ultimately, that's a matter for the state government and not the union government. I did make the point that in some ways decentralized community decision making is a characteristic of many European countries, and if we have a model in Meghalaya, we should cherish it and learn from it. So that's all I would say. Again, NITI Aayog officially publishes many rankings. It also, so this is not an assessment mission, it is a get acquainted mission. So what I would say is that this government has been very conscious of and active on bringing many national schemes to the far corners of Meghalaya. So drinking water, rural roads. So there are many achievements. However, those achievements are conditioned by the circumstances of Meghalaya, which is that it has a number of villages. Those villages are not necessarily, easy to reach. Those villages have their own schools, which have to be brought to the right level to national standards. Institutional deliveries are difficult, again, because of the geographic dimension. So there's a lot of achievement, but there is an agenda, and I don't think there's any mystery about what the action areas are, because this government puts a lot of effort into communicating its plans. So please don't think that I am here to judge. I am here to see how NITI Aayog, with its own limited resources, can be of use. And I have to say that one reason I came at this time is because CM, when we met at the G20, indicated how important he believed NITI Aayog was to the progress of the state. Okay, so when you are looking at a number of indicators, it's always easy to find some where one state is not doing as well as others. So, it is what it is. We try to be scrupulous, and it differs across. So it's not only the level, it's the amount of improvement that you should be looking at. But we have indicators on multidimensional poverty. We have indicators on health, etc. So I'm not going to make an overall judgment of Pearly. But what I would say is what I said yesterday about 10 billion. What I've learned by serving the Prime Minister is that goals and targets are important motivational tools. They have to be realistic, but they have to be ambitious. So it's an ambitious goal. But what it has done, and this is what was presented to me by the Chief Secretary yesterday, is it has stimulated a whole body of additional work to identify strategies to get to the 10 billion figure. But look, 5 years ago, nobody would have anticipated COVID. Nobody would have anticipated a war in Ukraine. So there are ambitious targets, and the state government is very conscious of this, but also this, as it were, the governance at the same level. There's also the question of equipping communities and indeed households to deal with shocks, be it a tornado or floods or whatever. So that is part and parcel of, as it were, preparing to be a $10 billion economy, is to make sure that if a shock comes along, as COVID did, that you are prepared for it. And I think that, local communities were very important in the way that Meghalaya responded to COVID, which was a major shock.